We appreciate all the participation last week and attention last week to the Williamson trial. As you know, it ended with a $16 million verdict. The settlement discussions prior to that were never even close to seven figures. So the idea that we got 16 million was pretty shocking to the other side of the case. Some of the questions that have been asked is when a law firm takes a case all the way through litigation and then goes to trial and gets such a whopper of a verdict like that, what happens next? Well, defendants, as you probably can imagine, don't give up the fight just as soon as a judgment is entered or a jury verdict comes back. They fight every step of the way, including after the verdict. They will do their best to attack the verdict. They'll probably file an appeal. There's already been filings in this case trying to attack the verdict of the jurors. So it's not like the day after you get a verdict, you get a check. It's usually there's a process after a verdict where the defendant tries to make arguments that the verdict was inappropriate, was illegal, was gotten by, unacceptable means, or it was too much. There'll be various combinations of those arguments that are made, and then they will turn those into some type of appellate argument after they leave the trial court level. And so that's usually what happens. And then typically, in other situations we've had with multi-million-dollar verdicts, there is some kind of consensus after the verdict as to what the case is now worth, and then there's usually some type of settlement. I'm not saying that's going to happen in this case, but that's what happens typically. Your law firm, though, and your lawyer that you've hired to handle your serious injury case or wrongful death case like this one, needs to have experience in handling jury verdicts, especially jury verdicts over, several millions of dollars. If your lawyer hasn't handled a jury verdict in excess of $1 million or $10 million, you probably need to be asking yourself, have you hired somebody that doesn't have those qualifications? Because you're paying the same fee to that person that you're going to pay to the person that has the experience with these verdicts. And like we said before, the track record inside the courtroom matters in this business. And so some of the other questions that we've gotten online since last week is, I have hired a lawyer for my injury case, and how do I know whether they have trial experience? Well, you can find out easy by asking them in an email, how many verdicts and lawsuits have you gotten over $1 million? That's a good starting point, right? Are you board certified in civil trial law? That's another good question that we've asked you to ask your people that are potentially going to represent you. And just because a law firm touts that they have plenty of millions recovered, billions recovered, whatever they want to tout, is the lawyer that's handling your case, do they have experience getting multi-million-dollar verdicts or verdicts over $9 or $10 million? If they don't, shouldn't you hire somebody that has those kind of qualifications to put your case in the best posture it can be? So those are things you should talk about. We are actually getting ready for another wrongful death trial that starts on September the 5th. It's the Yates versus Baptist Hospital case that we've talked about in previous videos. We're going to talk a little bit more and introduce the Yates case a little bit further in the next week or so. And we look forward to all those that followed us in the Williamson versus Armour case to follow us in the Yates versus Baptist Hospital case, another wrongful death case on the medical malpractice side of things that we look forward to trying starting September 5th. Y'all take care.